What's happening, internet? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Adrian, aka Foamm Cosplay. Halloween season is upon us. That's right, it's spooky time. And I'm going to be doing tutorials of how I'm making my Mandalorian cosplay. But it all starts with the Mandalorian's blaster pistol. Here's how I did. For this build, you will need EVA Foam, craft foam, any round item you can find in your house, and black, brown, and white spray paint, as well as black, silver, and gold acrylic paint. As for tools, you'll be needing cutter, scissors, a Dremel tool, and then a hot glue gun. The first thing you'll be is reference photos. Every single picture of the weapon you can possibly get, just to see how it would look and all the small parts that I can use. Step 2 involves sketching my own blueprints and all the small parts so that I could visualize how each piece was going to look, how I was going to make it, and then how it was going to connect. Once I was happy with the blueprint, I then proceeded to freehand sketch into the foam itself so that I had a good template. Most professional cosplayers make their own templates first on the computer, then they just print that out and then they stack it over the foam. I'm not at that level yet. The first thing we're doing is we're getting the right side. If you're not good at drawing, apologies, because I don't make templates, I just draw. My philosophy when props making is just roll with it. We're going for about 9.5 inches. After that, I cut it out, then I feel if it's the right shape. I was very happy with this. I decided to cut in the details and get rid of the center to create the trigger guard area where the trigger would go in. Make sure that you cut flat. Don't just poke it and then start sawing, because then that creates jagged edges and it makes it even more difficult when you're going to Dremel. That's why when I can, I go over my original cut with scissors and just make sure to glide when you're using the cutter. Once I was happy with the pistol, I then moved on to Dremeling to get rid of the excess bits of foam. If you don't have a Dremel tool, I think sandpaper would work. I've also worked with sandpaper, and there we have it, the perfect base for what we need. And then put that basic piece and then carve it over another piece of EVA foam in order to form the left side. Once the two pieces are together, I'm using glue. You could use contact cement, but hot glue is more than enough. I just glued it down, squeeze it together, and then the next thing I did was I sealed all of the gaps in between with hot glue, and then I scraped the excess off just to create a kind of seal. Cover it up with craft foam. Craft foam's a lifesaver really. It's a lot easier to work with than EVA. After you have both sides of the upper assembly, now's the time to add all the accessories. I just made all of the accessories in craft foam. Here I had to create the tactical rail. Just cut small strips of EVA foam. I glued those on top of an extra sheet to create more texture, and then I filled in the ring as well with more foam sheet. The pistol grip, I had to separate it and then put it in the center. The trigger, I put it inside the trigger guard. Then the round part here, I actually had to carve out a circular shape made out of the foam matting, and then I cut the center of that into the blaster itself. I put additional screws under there. Cut the middle of the EVA foam shape. I did with the left side was copied what I saw. All of the points raised up, I just used EVA foam, and I tried just be faithful to the design. This piece will serve as the barrel for me. If you don't have this, you could use an extra piece of craft foam. Just roll it up, glue it at the bottom, and then you're good to go. I placed the funnel portion and the tip of the barrel. This was the most challenging part. I cut another strip of foam sheet in a curve kind of shape, and then I rolled it up. Then once I could slide the back end over the barrel and then close it up with another strip of EVA foam. Once I cut that down, I put the very front of the barrel. Hardest part over, I moved on to the accessories. The bolt cover, this notch here on the right side, and then finally I finished off with the front side. The pistol grip, I just took two smaller pieces of the EVA foam mat, cut those up, glued them, and then scored it a bit. That basically served as the wooden area. So I'm going to show the finished blaster before painting. I'm just going over it through different angles, and then we'll go outside and get it painted. I went outside, I set a little cover on the ground so that the paint wouldn't spray everywhere. First thing I did was I hit it with white spray paint to serve as primer, and then I hit it with black, which formed the base coat. After which, I started spray painting it with brown for the handle, so I had to cover that up with a piece of paper. Once that was done, it came out looking really good, but it came out looking too glossy for my needs, so I needed to dial it down and weather it a bit. Before I did that, I went to work on the pistol grip, which is made of wood. I used a mixture of light green as well as red, and I just lightly went over that. After that, I went to the finer details and I painted the left side in gold, and I just lightly brushed over it. After which, I went through the details in silver, and then I just lightly dusted it in one direction going down. I then moved on to the front barrel, and I painted the conical shaped silver, the front portion black. The most crucial step was going over the blaster with black acrylic paint and silver paint, and then going through it again before finally hitting it with that last layer of silver. This is to get the weathering effect. We didn't want it to be too black, but we didn't want it to be too shiny silver either. This is how the Mandalorian's toy blaster looks like compared to my blaster. And this is how my blaster looks like compared to my first work, which was the DC-15 blaster pistol from Star Wars The Clone Wars. And I've come a long way. Very, very happy with how this looks. It's got all the details, it's got weathering, it's got a nice paint scheme. I love it, and I'm happy it turned out this way. I'm really proud of this pistol, and I can't wait for the rest of the costume to come along. So that's how I made the Mandalorian's blaster pistol. I hope you enjoyed, I hope you learned something, and I hope that you can be able to try it yourselves. If you like my content or want to see me make more of these tutorials, then please do like, comment, and definitely subscribe to my channel. I'm Adrian, aka Foamm Cosplay, and I'll see you next time.